everyone, great to see you all again, and thanks so much for joining me on my presentation on how to structure a research essay. So let's go straight to the point here. How do you structure a research essay? What are the main elements that you must include in a research essay? First thing you need is an introduction. So number one, you need an introduction, right? Very first thing you need to have your introduction. Don't forget to have your introduction. Don't skip this and just start writing straight away about your topic. You need an introduction, right? Always have an introduction. So that's the very, very first thing you need here. Okay, what's the second thing you need to have here? Second thing you need to have then is what we call a bit of background to the topic you are writing about. So we have, so step 2 here would be background. So the actual background of the topic. What do I mean by background? Background, what does that mean? Well, let's have a look. So background can relate to anything such as general information. So maybe anything general about the topic, any general information, or even a bit of history about the topic you are discussing. So it gives the reader a bit of background knowledge about what you are discussing. It gives the reader a bit of basis of what you are going to be writing about in your essay. So any general information, any history will always be in the background. What comes next after your background? So let's think what we've got. We've got an introduction, we've got a background. The next thing you need is what we call a discussion section. Discussion. So we have here discussion. That's going to be your discussion section, right? The discussion section is the main part of actually your research essay. This is where you're going to discuss all your findings, and this is where you're going to analyze all the data. So it's what we call the main part, perhaps, of your research essay. You're going to answer perhaps the essay question, provide examples, any personal experience will always be in the discussion. So it's a main part of your essay. Just remember, so discussion will be the main part, right? So the main part of your essay, the middle part will be the discussion there. Any data, any analysis that you have, it's always going to be in the discussion, right? So let's recap. We've got our title, background, and our discussion. What's going to come next? Let's have a look. What's the very last thing? Starts with C, conclusion. Excellent. So very last thing is your conclusion. So conclusion is the very last thing. This is where you're going to summarize the essay. You're going to summarize what you've written. You're not going to bring in new information. You're just going to summarize. So you're just going to summarize, make a summary of the information that you've written about here. Don't forget to do that. The last thing is your conclusion. Easy to forget, right? But conclusion will be the very last thing. So let's just recap. Research essay consists of 4 parts. First one, number 1 is the intro. Short for introduction, right? So introduction. Awesome, cool, we've got that, right? We've got that. So introduction is the first thing we always need. Remember, you're going to make a hook sentence in your introduction, grab the reader's attention. Could be any shocking statistic. You can even ask a question. Anything that will generate interest for the reader. Then you're going to tell the reader what your essay is about, and then you're going to tell the reader what order you're going to answer the essay questions. That would be in your introduction, right? Second thing is the background. Can you remember what would come in the background? We have here background. Awesome. Background, you're going to talk about any history relating to the topic, any general information would be in the background there, right? So we have our introduction, background. Third one, what would come next? Let's have a look. So the third point would be your discussion, right? Discussion. Awesome, we've got it. So the discussion will be your next session. So discussion, that would be the main part of your research essay. The main part. Think about a beef burger maybe, and the meat in the middle you've got a beef and you've got the two bread buns. So discussion is where you're going to analyze all the information and data that you've collected, talk about any personal experience you may have with the topic, what you've discovered throughout your research. So that would be in the discussion section. All right, we've run out of space here, but can you remember what number 4 would be? The step 4. Awesome, let's have a look here. So step 4 would be your conclusion. Awesome, we got it, right? Conclusion is the very last step there, guys. Just summarizing the essay. Just summarize the essay. You're not bringing in new information. You're just making a summary of what you have written about. Could be any key points. Any key points perhaps that you could think about, or maybe key information. Alright. So anything you may feel that is important to mention in your conclusion, you should put in there, right, from the essay. Nothing new, no new information, just the major points, key information there. Awesome. Alright guys, so don't forget those steps. That's the order that they should come in your research essay. Alright, thanks so much for listening to me. This was a short and sweet presentation on how to do a research essay. Later we'll be doing it a little bit more in depth and more detail. Thanks a lot and check you later.